What is up, y'all? Back out here at the hunting lane again. It's been about a week since I was last out here. Um, we've had quite a bit of rain. I sprayed just a week ago. I don't really expect to see anything turning brown just yet, but we will see. My experience with that GliStar, it normally takes about 2 or 3 weeks for stuff to really start dying with it. But we've had a lot of rain, so I just wanted to come out here and check on the food plots. And unfortunately, last time I was out here, I uh, heard some rumor about some people's stuff getting stolen up in the woods. So brought a lock. We're going to lock the deer stand on the tree. Hopefully it's still there. But we're going to lock the deer stand up, and that way nobody can take my stuff. Check on the food plots. Like I said, it's pretty wet out here today, as you can see. Just trying to get into the woods or get to where I park at is pretty muddy, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be even worse. So let's get this party rolling. We'll go up in the woods and see how these plots are doing. Seems to be liking the rain. Everywhere you look, just about everywhere you look, I should say, there's something coming up. Everything's looking nice. Bunch coming up through here. Last time we were out here, we didn't see any of this. So, like I said, we've had quite a bit of rain as well. Some coming up, popping up through all this dead material. You can see still spotty, but I say that, and when you get down, you can see, you know, there's still stuff germinating out here. So, another good one. This area here, last time we were out, there was nothing coming up, and now we're starting to get, you know, a little bit popping up here and there. Same thing here. Got a little bit popping up, and then you can see this guy is trying to come up, and you know, there's some down there and right here. So I think it's going to turn out to be all right. Some down in there. This one through here, there wasn't hardly anything coming up down this path, and you can see one coming right up beside that big rock. Some more right there, and look at this buckwheat that's coming up there, and brassicas. Right there, and right here around the stump. We got some popping up. More right there. They're not huge, you know, to kind of put into perspective of my hand, but yeah, it's coming up. I think it's been 3 weeks since I planted. I'll confirm. Even right over here, we've got some popping up through there. Some more, let's see, there we go. More coming up down in that little hole. You got that little guy there. So it's still patchy, but you know, things are still popping up, so that's a good sign. Here's that area that I sprayed. Like I said, I didn't really expect it to be too brown coming into today. It's only been a week since I've sprayed it, but you can see some browning out here. I don't know how much of that browning is just from me running it over, or you know, that glyphosate starting to work. Got quite a bit of limbs in here. I'm gonna have to try and pull out. I believe I'm gonna try and get those out before I actually plant this time. Some more right here. See if we can pull those out once this dies back a little more. I'll come over here to this path. The last time this path was the one that had the most coming up in it. You can see that down in here, there's a bunch starting to bust up out of the ground. Walk down this way a little bit. Quite a bit starting to pop up. You can see there's some clover coming out. We'll walk down this way a little bit. I think right in here is right where I can't see anymore. But that's okay. There's a little dip down right here that won't let me see back up in this hole. There's a little bit coming up in here. Some clover, brassicas. Let's go back up here where I can actually see it from my deer stand. I think right in here, pretty much where this path, where I've connected the 2 lanes at, I can see. You probably can't see that deer stand back up in there, but some coming up. This is where we had seen the most germination last time I was out here. This guy looks like it got beat down a little bit, and he was a little bit taller. Brassicas down in there. Been debating about cutting that up. I don't know that I really need to. I mean, there's this little limb coming out to the plot, but I think I might just leave it down. Kind of see how tall that is. And it's down there a little ways. And there's quite a bit, starting to germinate. I know some of this, it looks like the clover's starting to come in quite a bit. Last time I was here, I didn't see any clover. It's just this brassicas that are coming up. You can see over here, there's quite a bit down in there starting to germinate. But I think, here's a good little patch too, but I think if these continue to come up, regardless of how patchy it is, they grow up to their full potential, then it should be plenty. It's a pretty big one, probably biggest so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing. There's another pretty big one. So, looking good. And down in this hole, in this rut, see quite a bit starting to germinate down there low. I believe a lot of the clover is really starting to come in. I did go a little heavy on the seed because I didn't, I assumed that I was going to lose some to runoff with as hard as this ground is, even though I've got material laying on the ground to help hold that seed in. I assumed that some would run off, birds would probably get some, and some just wouldn't even germinate. So I did go a little heavy on the seed. I'm hoping, I didn't go too terribly heavy. But we will see as spread out as a lot of this stuff is. I think we should be fine. I don't think stuff is too close together that it's going to cause any issues. I don't think. If you plant too heavy, especially with brassicas, you plant it too heavy, get too many too close together, they start fighting for nutrients, and especially in poor soil like this, and it just doesn't go up to its full potential. So yeah, quite a bit coming up. Very happy with it. We have rain all weekend long, so I think I've been very, very fortunate with the rain side of things. Have yet to do a soil test just to see if I need to put down any more lime or fertilizer. I believe this little spot from here connecting these two lanes together, I think we're right around 10,000 square feet, maybe a little more. And I put out, I believe it was 120 pounds of lime and 80 pounds of 13-13-13. I believe the bag's recommended rate was 300 pounds per acre. And we're sitting just under a quarter of an acre. Alright, y'all, so this really goes to show that you don't need big, expensive equipment to come through and plant a food plot. Just to recap what I've done here, is I've gone through and sprayed out some glyphosate. You could have done it, or I could have done it with a hand pump sprayer, backpack sprayer. Didn't use the machine, that's what I have, so I did use it. I could have seeded the time that I sprayed, but I didn't because I wasn't sure if I was going to need to spray again given how thick the material is in here. So I did spray a little heavy. but I waited to make sure I wasn't going to have to spray again. Came through, put out some lime, put out some fertilizer, threw down my seed. I knew I had a rain coming, so I did it right before a rain. This thick material, as it lays down, is going to help hold the seed there. It's going to help hold moisture in. It's going to let that seed germinate. And as you can see, it's all, starting to come up. I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks since I planted all of this stuff. I believe it's been 3 weeks since I planted all of this. And as you can see, we've got growth coming in. So just so you know, don't need anything expensive. This method works. I've been using it for a little while. Been doing a lot of research on it as well, but you can see it works. So don't think that you got to have expensive equipment and disc that ground up like the farmers do. We're just growing a food plot for deer, and it works. The biggest things that you got to make sure of is that you got plenty of sun. I've grown some food plots in some pretty shady areas that just didn't do very well, but anytime that I was out in the open like this where it gets plenty of sun, I've had pretty good luck with planting food plots just like this. The only other thing that you need in addition to that is rain. And all you can do is just hope for the rain. I've been very, very fortunate that we've had a lot of rain over the last several weeks. And that's probably one of the big reasons why this stuff has taken off like it has. Obviously, lime and fertilizer is important as well, but you can put out all the lime and fertilizer that you want. If you don't have sunlight, you don't have rain, you're not going to have a good food plot. But plenty of sun, plenty of rain, do what you can with your lime and fertilizer, and you should have a pretty successful plot. So I will keep y'all posted on this weekly, bi-weekly. We'll see how it goes. Just keep coming out here showing you the progress that it's making over the time, and hopefully this will help any of you out there that's wanting to start a food plot who just don't have that big equipment to do it, because you don't need it. I stopped discing probably 4 or 5 years ago and don't even own a set of disc anymore. This is how I plant all of my food plots. Simple, easy. It does take a little bit of work to get it in, but you'd have never been able to run a set of disc out here anyways. There's stumps everywhere, there's limbs everywhere, there's rocks everywhere, and also running disc, all you're going to do is take some weed seed that's down below and pull it up to the surface, and you're just going to end up fighting off weeds again. So this is my preferred method, and I think probably one of the best methods that you can use to plant food plots.